Long before the invention of mechanical clocks, we used sundials. Before we had proper toothbrushes, we had chew sticks. Before planes, we had the trebuchet and too much free time. That is to say, we've had the innovations that transform the various activities we do as a society, but none of that really matters because it's about Frigost and there's nothing you can do to improve their gameplay. Frigost is a fighter mage heavyweight that utilizes slows to rend foes. This discount freezer chunk you can't get rid of can put any 10,000 pound hippo in the wild to shame with how one sided fights can get with them. First off, it's passive. Just like an Australian honey badger, it is extremely misleading. Imagine for a moment you're playing tennis, but the instant you hit the ball, it detonates in a sonic boom that flash fries everyone in a 10-meter radius. It's a tool Frigosts use, completely unpunished because you're either hitting the block or suffer a slap in the wrist. First ability is block. It's not only the most straightforward skill out there, but possibly the most underrated ability to start lagging with 3000 plus ping. Moving on to its first ability, Icicles. Fires three ice spikes that do some decent damage. Now, in theory, right, this ability would have been perfectly fine if not for the fact it also spikes your drink with the worst drug possible every time you get spaced by one of the Kim Jong un sized party hats because your Wi Fi decided that you needed more reasons to regret your decision. The spikes also inflict a strong movement debuff on hit, as if you thought the iceberg from the Titanic finally finished exploring your colon, it goes in for a second round. Its second ability is Shatter Sword. Frigos swings their sword like they're pulling a believe in the heart of the cards only to get hit by a debuff equivalent of an Exodia. You practically win the engagement if you open with this ability, not because of its damage, but because your opponent jumped at the sound of glass shattering at full blast, making them lose concentration, causing them to spill the bucket of sweat they keep under their chair. Nah, I would say another, but a bucket would be too small. Now, its third ability is called Glacier Shield. Frigos slams the ground, sending out a mist that slows and gives Frigos defense before propelling themselves at you like a Bugatti Chiron in a school zone. People will argue that it technically fits the requirements of a well telegraphed skill, but I say the skill is the closest thing to a jump scare in this horror game, solely because decent Frigos can aim this thing like AIM 120 advanced medium range air to air missile, even behind six layers of colorful abysses sitting on top of each other's heads to play into the illusion that they're having fun playing as Abyss. Frigos's fourth ability, the ultimate, is Absolute Zero, which is specifically the amount of thinking that goes in when it becomes available. Frigos essentially draws in their inner repressed emotions from being a meta pick for all of his existence and then trauma dumps it all in an AoE. This deals tons of damage and stun for a 3-second windup, which is also the same time where Frigos players last themselves. Yes, themselves, because Frigos players are statistically single and don't mind the cold shoulder, or at least, in this case, the cold in general. Conclusion: Frigos is a well-rounded class that offers lots of crowd control potential and holds up for having such a fun and tight kit.